Hey folks, welcome back. Pop Retro 1 at Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/popretro1. That's where you can find me on social media, patreon.com/popretro. Wanted to take a few minutes this evening and talk about a movie called 315. And if you look it up online, it sometimes is called 315, The Moment of Truth. Now, this was a 1986, it actually says 1985 on the back of here on the Blu-ray case, but 1986 everywhere online. So it was probably shot in 85 and released in 86, or maybe it had a early release in a theater somewhere in 85, who knows. So rated R, and this is basically a typical 80s gang movie. We have all these, I love 80s gangsters, especially in movies, because, often they're pretty stiff and they're pretty, come on, man, I'm going to slit your throat, with that type of just kind of funny over-the-topness and plenty of switchblades, too. And so this movie, in a lot of ways, is no different. But I wanted to rewatch it because, for some reason, this one always stuck with me. I always enjoyed it. It stars Adam Baldwin, not to be confused with Alec Baldwin, Deborah Foreman, you can see right here, and Danny De La Paz is the main gangster. And essentially what happens is at Lincoln High School, the Cobras, they rule the school. They're the main gang. And Adam Baldwin is one of the members of the Cobras, but he wants out because the Cobras, they're pretty violent, and they get really violent during early in the movie. And that's when Adam Baldwin says, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. Now, of course, these are all high schoolers, if you can believe that, because, well, especially in the 80s, all high schoolers looked like they were about 28 years old, which is about how old I think most of the actors are in this movie. But so then the movie switches to essentially the Cobras kind of derailing, taking over the school. I mean, the school is just graffiti filled, as you can even see on the cover. And the Cobras, the gang, they are just wreaking havoc. And you've got the school administration and even some members of law enforcement kind of meeting of the minds, trying to figure out what to do to make it all stop. And so when they do try to stop the Cobras from their drug running inside the school, of course, somehow the Cobras wind up implicating old Jeff here, Adam Baldwin. And so Baldwin needs to clear his name. And so essentially he says, you know what, I'm going to take on the Cobras. We've had enough of this. And so the title of the film, 315, is the time of day where this big showdown is going to occur. So that's kind of your basic plot of 315. And, it's a fairly standard setup for 80s gang movies, I guess. But I don't know, maybe it's nostalgia, and maybe just, but even rewatching it, I always felt that there are just some moments that really shine in this movie and some real suspense as to how this gang war might go down at the end, and some good commentary on bravery and betrayal that I kind of didn't expect back when I saw it when I was really young, and even rewatching it today. And some of those themes, I think, play out really well in this movie, especially considering, what it is, an exploitation, mid-80s, gang movie that essentially was, a cable and VHS staple, something that's pretty well not remembered, as far as mainstream movies go. I don't even think there's a Wikipedia page for this movie, this actual film. So Adam Baldwin is pretty good, I think, and pretty serious. He looks good. Deborah Foreman, I've always loved Deborah Foreman. I just watched The Chauffeur recently, and she was great in that. She's more serious in this movie, obviously, because it's a more serious movie, even though there are some parts you can chuckle at because it's that stiff 80s gang talk and over seriousness. But you know, it's that stuff that we all love when it comes to that sort of thing. Also in the film is Rene Auberjonois. I never knew how to spell his name. Auberjonois. He's the whatever, the school administrator, the principal, and Ed Lauter is also in this, playing the cop who's kind of trying to move in on the Cobras and shut down their operation, their drug operation happening at Lincoln High School. Also, you've got all the gangs, all the stereotype gangs are kind of represented. You have like the Kung Fu gang, and you've got like whatever these guys that dress up in military fatigues, and that's Mario Van Peebles is sort of the leader of that gang or group inside the school. Scott McGinnis is also in there somewhere, and also as I was watching this, I was like, who is that? I recognize who that is, and it's Gina Gershon. And I recognized her, but it just didn't click with me at first because it was such a small part. So I think this may have been like, who knows, it could have been her first role or one of her earliest roles. And she just is she's one of the Cobras. She's one of the female Cobras in this movie. So the director, Larry Gross, he's best known for his collaborations with Walter Hill, writing, producing generally. 48 Hours, another 48 Hours, Streets of Fire. And he also worked on TV, such as the original MacGyver and Midnight Caller, two shows that I really enjoyed growing up. So this was released by Scorpion Releasing a couple years back. I think like, let's see, 2019, 2020. So it says 2020. It's an MGM film, so it was a couple of years ago, which is when I picked this up, and it looks really, really good. The picture is really good, and had brand new 2019 HD master, brand new on-camera interview with star Danny de La Paz, along with an original trailer. And I don't usually talk about the special features a lot, but I really, really enjoyed the interview with De La Paz. He's the guy who plays Cinco, the main leader of the Cobras, the main bad guy in this film. And he's just, he very well spoken and really good information and really fun to listen to. And he has some really good stories and just really honest. And it's not a long interview. I think, 10 or 12 minutes. And he just kind of goes into a lot of what he remembers shooting this movie, along with some of the people who were in the movie and what he remembers with them and about them. And one of my favorite parts was when he talks about how he recently rewatched it, and he was like, man, I was really early in my career, and he just like, I was so over the top. And I'm watching this going, man, I wish somebody would have told me to tone it down a little bit, he said. But, like he said, that's the way it went. That's the way it was. And he owns it. And I really appreciated that too. So a really good extra, the feature on here with the interview with De La Paz. So here's a look at the back of this case. Now, I believe this went out of print. I was looking online, trying to see if it's still in print. And from just, I don't know, looking around in forums or some comments in some places, I think it went out of print, but then it maybe got repressed, just like in February of this year. It shows up on Amazon. I have it in front of me here. $21.99 on Amazon.com right now. So I'll put that link in the description. But here's a look at the inside. $3.15. $3.15, suckers. School's out. And here's the front, and here's the reversible art, which I'm assuming was probably the VHS artwork. Here's a little closer look. So there you have it. $3.15, the moment of truth, depending on where you look. Hey, thanks for watching this review. I will be back soon with some more haul videos and more reviews before you know it. And I'll see you then.